You are now listening to the Pancakes and Powerslams show by Crave Wrestling on Blog Talk Radio. Be sure to follow Crave Wrestling on Twitter at Crave Wrestling and join the Facebook fan page Crave Wrestling.
Episode 368, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pancakes and Powerslams show. Indeed. We are live and live in color. Getting funky like a monkey, if you will, baby. Funky like a monkey. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into everything. We have a really awesome show this evening. We're still on the Kofi Kingston train. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. And I wanted to bring this person in. You know, the really cool thing about this person that I'm bringing on the show tonight, former Cruiserweight Classic competitor, current 205 Live competitor. You know, it's funny because when you become friends with someone on social media, you don't necessarily know them, but you get to know them well. You get to know cool perks about them and things like that. And you know, I don't know how we became Facebook friends, but it's been a little bit of time now. And we noticed that we have we have a lot of similarities, and particularly with faith. And one similarity we have is through our love for Christian rap music. So we've discussed at times just our love for Christian rap music. And you know, it's funny because I love talking music. One of the biggest things other than wrestling and college football, I love talking music. I'm a DJ. I'm a Christian DJ, and so I love talking music. I love talking the latest artists and things like that. And so we've had some conversations about that, which is pretty cool. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on former NXT star, former Cruiserweight Classic 205 Live star, Kenneth Johnson. How are you tonight, sir?
Hey, what's up, Chris? What's up, man? Doing pretty good.
Awesome, man. It's good to have you on the show tonight.
Man, thanks for having me, man. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. So, like I said, we have an affinity for Christian rap music, man. Is there any new artists that you've been bumping?
New artists, man. Right now, I've been bumping Kevmo right now.
Okay. Oh yeah. Kevmo's dope. Yeah. Kevmo's super dope.
Yeah. Kevmo right now. Who else? What up, RG?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm a big fan of No Big Deal,
sure.
And he rolls with No Big Deal. No Big Deal is one of my favorite artists.
Right.
They roll together. So, yeah. And I think you mentioned Dylan Chase before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan Chase is really good, man.
Yeah, he is.
Way underrated.
He is underrated. I agree with that. He is an underrated artist. Yep. So, yeah, man. So, is any other artists that you listen to while you work out?
While I work out, man, Reconcile.
Ooh,
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Reconcile. Kristen Gray for sure.
Yeah, good friends with Kristen. He's Columbus, Ohio, just like I am.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. He's awesome, man.
He is.
Man, it's like, what you call it? With him, I wish he was able to get out more and do like more shows.
Yeah. He I've known Chris for, he was on one of my favorite first shows. I've been doing like Christian rap events since 2005, and
wow.
Chris and Taylor were one of my first shows, back like 06. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, man, like 13 years ago, and they were on my shows at then, and when they were called the Elevationists, and Chris Taylor and BJ, also a dope artist. He doesn't rap anymore, but he's a awesome dude, man. Yeah, so yeah, man, and then they became so big in Columbus. I had them in a bunch of shows here in Columbus, and they broke out of of just the local audience, especially Chris, man. Chris is one of those dudes, and Taylor's dope too. Awesome. He's a pastor now, actually. Yeah. Sure.
Really?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he has his own church. Yep. Yeah. I just talked to Taylor a couple weeks ago. Yeah, Chris. Man, yeah, just you just could tell just the talent that Chris had, just from a local standpoint when he was doing shows here locally. That that he was going to make it big. So. But yeah, but yeah, man. Let's talk about some Kenneth Johnson. Start off with I have a question for you, man. Where did Weezy Woo come from?
Oh man, Weezy Woo came from pretty much when I was like a teen. I was like maybe 15, 16 years old, and so. Well, my nickname is Woo. Mm-hmm. So pretty much like my family, friends, everybody back in Detroit, all call me Woo. And so around that time, I was a big fan of like Cash Money and stuff. Cash Money, Lil Wayne, and so I ended up calling myself Weezy. And then pretty much it just like went from there. I called myself on Weezy Woo. And then pretty much like when I started wrestling when I was 18, then bam, there you go.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, Weezy Woo. So you've been wrestling for how long now?
Since 05.
Wow.
05. Yeah, I got in WWA 4, training under Curtis Hughes.
Nice, Mr. Hughes. Yeah. Did he share any road stories with you?
He did with like a lot of us, but it's been so long since I've heard him, so kind of like in and out. But Hughes is hilarious, man. I love Hughes.
He is. I talked to him. There was an event last year when I went to New Orleans. There was I think Main Event Wrestling, I believe, was the show. Promoter's name was Byron, and I actually went to see because I'm buddies with Lance Archer, and he was there. Yeah. And Hughes was there. He had a table by himself, man. Nice guy. Nice, he gave me his info and told me to contact him and stuff like that. And he was just talking, man. He was just talking about just the ups and downs and showing me pictures of when he was with Jericho and he's just going a trip down memory lane, man. He's just showing me a bunch of pictures about what he was doing, and I think he showed me a picture of the urn. I think it was like the urn one time he showed me, and it was really cool, man. And he was going, I love road stories anyways, and he was just going down memory lane.
That's cool, man. With Hughes, it's never a dull moment with Hughes at all.
Yeah.
At all, man.
Yeah, he's a really, really cool dude. So Weezy Woo, you started with with Hughes and what other starting with Hughes. Somehow you went from WWA 4 to WWE. So just explain, to the listeners that process of, where'd you go after Hughes and where were you when you were recruited and just how that came about.
Oh man, pretty much I was in Georgia with Hughes and everybody for like 3 years, and then like the wrestling scene there kind of dried up. So I ended up moving to Texas, San Antonio.
Okay.
And then I ended up hooking up with a ministry slash promotion here in San Antonio, and pretty much I ended up just getting up like connections with like each like small promotions, and then pretty much fast forward to 2011, I ended up getting an extra spot with WWE. And so pretty much like my first time was there, I was like a nervous wreck, man, real, on like pretty much just like doing stuff with them and doing like promos and stuff like that. I was just a nervous wreck, big time. But through that, I guess Regal, he took in a liking to me. And so from there, pretty much he became like my mentor.
Oh, nice.
So every time, yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's insane. And so, what's it called? Yes. Yeah, so through all that, I ended up getting like connection with Funaki also. And then I ended up
nice.
I'm training with Funaki. So, yeah. Like, yeah, man, like, it's crazy how that worked out.
SmackDown #1 announcer.
Pretty much. Right? #1 announcer. Oh, yeah, man, I love Show.
Yeah.
He's funny. Funny dude.
Yep.
Funny guy. And so pretty much after I ended up getting like small extra spots, and then out of nowhere in 2013, I got a tryout in Florida, like a 3-day tryout. And I ended up getting my notice, like 2 weeks beforehand. And so I'm like, oh crap, like,
wow.
Like, man, like, what am I gonna do? Yeah. And like going through that was the toughest thing like you could ever go through in your life. 3 days. It was so rough, man.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
But I got through it though.
Yeah.
Like, it's drills upon drills upon drills. And plus, that was the first tryout that they had with the PC also. And then through all that, I got through it. And then after that, I didn't hear anything. And then I still getting on with the extra spots. And then out of nowhere, I got an email about TWC. And through that process, it was crazy because, like, a background check. They wanted a background check. They wanted everything. Like, everything. Like, my mom, name, place where I lived for the last, 15 years. And so pretty much, that day, I ended up getting an email. I had to scan. I had to download at least 90 sheets of paper.
Wow.
Like little things.
Wow.
Yeah.
A whole book.
Yeah. Exactly. At least 2 books.
Yeah.
Download them. I download them, I fill them out, scan them, and send them all back. And I did all of that. And the night that I got it, and I was up until at least 4 a.m. Getting all that done. It was crazy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, that sounds.
It was nuts.
That sounds a lot like a lot. Definitely. Yeah.
Big time.
So how was we got some questions here, but I want to ask you a couple more questions. Just what was your overall experience with 205? Well, you started the Cruiserweight Classic. That's how we first got to know who Kenneth Johnson was, and representing America, and just what was that experience like all together? Like, who really was just the person who was in charge of it all, as far as just your go-to person for 205 Live, and for Cruiserweight Classic, and even with the Cruiserweight Classic, as we saw, that still wasn't a just a lock to become a WWE competitor. It was just
Right.
it gave people an opportunity to allow, others to allow a more public audience to see, who they were, but that still wasn't a lock, to become a WWE superstar. How was that feeling as far as the pressure to want to, showcase your talent for people to see?
Man, like, the whole experience was insane. Like, I'll say, 2 months out before the Classic, at first I was just pretty much, like, staying on it, like, ring work, and my eating stayed good. But I'm like, man, like, I got to step it up. Big time. Like, I got to step this up. And so pretty much I'm like, all right, well, for 2 months, all I ate was protein and fruit. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it worked because you're super jacked now. Yeah.
Fine, man. Fine.
Yeah, you putting it in, you putting the work in, man. So, yeah. So, how was just the who was like the go-to person when it came to that? Was you talk about Regal, kind of being under the tutelage of Regal. Regal does a lot of the scouting. Right. So, who gave you the call to actually be a part of the Classic?
Actually, I didn't get a call. It was just email.
Email?
Like,
okay.
Emails upon emails.
Yeah.
But then, like, when we got there, I'll say my go-to guy was actually go-to guys. Funny thing is, it was Regal and Funaki.
Oh, nice.
So that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really nice. I'm like, all right, I'll take this.
Yeah.
I'll take it, Lord. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. That's awesome, man. So, how was your experience? Just the match. I'm sure there had to be a lot of pressure there, as far as like I said, showcasing to everyone like this is why I should become a WWE competitor. Because, like I said, it wasn't a lock. It was more of just like an exhibition. So, how was that? How was that feeling?
It was a lot of pressure for sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, like, I got to go out here and do my thing. I got to show them. So I'm just like, man, it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And pretty much I was just, like, praying, man. I was praying on that I get the strength and energy and be confident to go out there and showcase.
Yep.
But, yeah, it turned out to be a real good match. So I'm very pleased with it. So, and yeah, I'm very pleased with it, and I was like pretty shocked that I got an email to come back when we did a tag match. Me, Lindsay, his niece, and Gulak.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I take that too.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, that transition to 205 Live, you most recently went against TJP, I think it was last month.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Like, who, gave you the opportunity to compete there? And I'm sure, again, the pressure was on, as far as just such a huge platform. How was that?
Oh, that was like awesome because me and TJ are real tight and cool, and so like beforehand I didn't know like what was going to go down or what's going to happen. But when I got there, it was like, yeah, there'll probably be being you and TJ. I'm like, okay, awesome,
nice.
And then that Tuesday is like, all right, you up? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I go out and do my thing. I have fun with it. And so, yeah, it was real good. And Adam Pierce.
Okay. Scrap iron.
Yeah, Pierce. Oh, yeah. Pierce told me one thing that I'll never forget. He told me to go out there and enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important, man, because a lot of people who've been in the business, you've been in the business almost 15 years, and a lot of people who are in the WWE and like super in the WWE, who've had multiple championships and things like that. A lot of times they just go from town to town and still don't enjoy the moment, and it becomes more like a job instead of something they enjoy, And I've had a lot of Hall of Famers on the show, and one common thread that I've noticed is that for the people, at the end of the day, you're a brand, you're a character, and if you're having fun, the people will see that. You know what I mean? And, just like on SmackDown tonight, you can tell that Kevin Owens, Montreal guy, he was just having a good time. You know what I mean? Being an honorary member of the New Day, so, we can feel that confidence. We can feel that emotion, so. It was really cool. Speaking of New Day, let's end with this last question, and I got a couple questions from the P and Peanut Gallery is what I call them, So Kofi Kingston. Let's talk about Kofi Kingston. Of course, such a huge moment. Yeah, Kofi Mania. Such a huge moment for WWE. For just just culture, transcending culture. You had people crying about just some wrestlers crying. I actually talked to JTG today and just videos of that. Just you posted a picture of JTG, Shad, Mark Henry, MVP. It was a bunch of black WWE stars just collectively, with enjoying this historical moment. How was it just enjoying that moment?
That was awesome. Like, that right there was much more than him winning that title. It was so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was like deep rooted, man. And for him to have that connection with so many people, with everybody, it was like, wow.
Yep. Absolutely.
I agree. Everybody was in tears. Everybody was crying.
Yeah. Where were you at the time?
I was at home, actually.
Okay.
I was at home with some friends. We were just watching it. And when he won, I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding? Like, did he just win?
Yeah.
He just get that title.
Yeah, it was amazing.
He just get that title. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was at MetLife when it happened, and the crowd just went absolutely bananas, and it was just no matter where you were, it just was just an amazing moment just across the board. From MetLife to home, it was just an amazing moment. Just just really no matter where you were. Yeah, awesome. So let's take a couple questions here. We got Lexi asking, have any up-and-comers asked you to use your finisher? Done deal. If so, who?
Asked me to use it. Up-and-coming? Not many, actually. It's mostly just, young guys around Texas, or at like these little, like small spot shows, actually. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Doing your program with Ultimate Warrior Undertaker, was there something you wanted to change or add? I guess that's for Hughes. If if doing your program with Ultimate Warrior Undertakers, was there something that you wanted to change or add? I suppose that's for Mr. Hughes. Like, what based on what you saw, what would you have added or changed?
Man. Man, you got to ask Hughes on that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I was a little kid during that time, so.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that like? Oh, goodness. That was 92 or 3, wasn't it?
90?
Yikes. Well, let me check and see when that was, actually.
90, what, like 90, 91, 92 maybe?
Yeah, I'm going to check and see when that was, when he... 93. Yeah, stole the urn. Yeah, 93. Wow. Yeah. What were you doing at that time, man?
I was 7. I was playing with my little wrestling man. A wrestling man, had my ring and all that stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome.
I was 7.
Yeah, I was a little kid too, and I remember personally, I was just devastated that Taker, that Curtis he stole the urn, man. I was devastated. So awesome, man.
Heart-wrenching, man.
Yeah, it was. It was heart-wrenching, man. I was devastated that the urn was stolen, man. But that was a big break for Hughes. You know what I mean? I'm sure. Like I said, I talked to him last year, and that was a big moment for him. So let the listeners know where to find you on social media, man, and any upcoming dates too.
Man, I would say I'm so busy with doing so much stuff. I'm filming with Woosie J. Pretty much like filming with him, doing skits, doing more stuff with some guys that I know.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing like a little series called the Bato Rangers. So pretty much kind of like Bato version of like Power Rangers.
Oh, nice. That's pretty awesome.
It's funny stuff, man.
Yeah.
Funny stuff with those guys. That, and I'm trying to get into doing more acting stuff too, with like plays and all that stuff. Because my uncle, he writes plays and put on plays.
Oh, nice.
In Michigan. So yeah. Pretty much right now, I'm just like branching out, doing other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also.
Fantastic.
So yeah, man. I'm branching out, trying to do more stuff, and I don't know what to call it. Pretty much to go out and motivate, inspire, uplift, encourage people.
Yeah.
That you do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah. I tell you, if you follow Kenneth on Facebook, you will be inspired. You definitely will be inspired, man. So, what other social media platforms do you have?
I have Twitter at Weezy Woo, Instagram at Kenneth Johnson 1. I have Snapchat, but I don't even use it.
Yeah.
I'm only looking at like stuff here and there, and that's it.
Yeah.
So pretty much just Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, Kenneth, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show tonight, man. Stay lifted and have a good night, bro.
Also, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, man. Have a good night.
Much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You too, brother. Bye.
Kenneth Johnson on the show tonight. Thank you so much for being on the show. Kenneth Johnson, brother. Awesome, man. Really cool dude. Really cool dude. Go follow him on Facebook, man. Really happy that he had an opportunity to be a part of the Cruiserweight Classic and recently 205 Live. So, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the headlines. Here we go. All right. Before we get to the headlines, let's start off with the first trivia question of the night, brother. Here we go. Fill in the blank. Former WWE talent Gunner blank. Former WWE talent Gunner blank. Oh, okay. We got to ask Chris question. We got to ask Chris question. We got Evan Tech Prout calling into the show. And actually, we got Plan B. We got Plan A tonight for Evan Tech Prout. So he's going to call. Let's see. We're going to do Plan A today. Plan A. Not as good, but, you know. We like Plan B better, but like I said, Plan A, it has all my sound bites all in one place. So, like this one.
I'd do it for you.
Oh, absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. I'd do it for you. All right, let's get right into the headlines. Here we go. Let's do it again. Double headline music, just for you all. Just for you all. I'll do it for you. Yes, Kimbo. Yes, Kimbo. That is my favorite Booker T. My favorite Booker T soundbite. Okay, so now it's a signature ending of mine. So here's there's some really good Ask Chris questions from the P and Peanut Gallery there. We're gonna bring Evan Tech Proud on here in a bit. So let me explain. I do it for you. Okay, so this is I don't remember when this started. Sometime last year. Probably I don't know. It's sometime last year, close to a year ago, somewhere around there. And Kimbo said I love it too. So I was listening to I was listening to a Booker T podcast, okay, and he started the podcast. Booker T, I used to listen to. I'm so busy now. I don't listen to as many podcasts as I want to, but I used to a lot. So people were saying Chad Lale and Jackson Riker. So no, so the question is this: the former WWE superstar Gunner blank. Got to fill in the blank. Former WWE talent Gunner blank. All right. So here's a story for I do it for you. So I was listening to one of his podcasts, and so he started off with a promo to promote, any bookings. I might have it actually. I might have it. So he was, and this is free pub for Booker T. Actually, if I play this, so he was promoting one of his shows. He was just like promoting an appearance or something like that, and he was like, so yeah, this is your man Booker T. For any bookings, contact my man Brad Gilmore. And I think he gave the either the email or the either the email or the Twitter. I don't remember what it was. But he was like, "God, do it now. I'd do it for you." And I just, for some reason, I thought that was the funniest thing ever. That it just, to me, was just so random that he would just end his promo with that. It was absolutely hilarious to me, and I kept listening to it, and I kept rewinding it and listening to it over and over again and cracking up laughing. And then I translated that over to the same night, the show, and I was like, do it now. I do it for you. So so now that's a signature of mine, and now I have a soundbite.
I do it for you.
I do it for you, and I think the whole point of "I do it for you" to me is just funny. It just seems so funny to me. that like if someone's having a random conversation and they're having like and they're saying their goodbyes, and all of a sudden, so hey, I got one more thing to say. I'd do it for you. Like it's just hilarious to me. So that's a running joke, and now it's part of the PNP part of the PNP fiber. For me to say that in honor of Booker T, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I'd do it for you. Yeah, Booker can sell anything, Kimbo says. Yeah, that's hilarious. So yeah. The lizard, how have you not killed that lizard yet? What lizard are you talking about, Wild Boy? Am I missing something? All right, so you're talking to Rob. Okay, talking to Rob. Okay. Rob says the lizard in my house had to be sleepless for 3 days. Oh, you got a lizard in your house. That's no good. There you go, Wild Boy. Gunner Scott. Do it. Do it now. I'd do it for you. Mo said I laughed so hard when it started. Yeah. It is hilarious, man. That is like a joke that will never end. Like, I'd do it for you is like the evergreen phase. It'll never go away. So in order to keep it rolling, to keep the tradition, it's a part of the PNP outro now. So in honor of Booker T. Yeah, you did, Mo. You did tell me that he pinned your comment on Facebook Live during his podcast. So, because I hashtagged that. I had that trending for a little while when I did hashtag I'd do it for you, and Mo he sent me a tweet of Booker T pinning that on his podcast. I think it was on Facebook that he was on there, and he pinned it. That was pretty dope. All right, so let's get into these Ask Chris questions before I bring on my boy Evan Tech Prout. Rob West is asking. He missed last week. How was New Jersey? Where did I eat? Okay. Well, let's bring Evan Tech Prout because he was with me. Evan Tech Prout, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing all right. Dealing with a little physical pain, but it's nothing going to stop me.
Oh man!
The third show tonight.
Praying for speedy recovery for you, man.
Yeah, it's nothing serious.
Okay, good. That's good to know. So Rob is asking, how was New Jersey and where did I eat? So, of course, Evan Tech Prout, the co-host with the most. He is in Maryland. I am in Ohio. For the third year in a row, we meet up and do media together. Spend the weekend, hang out at WrestleMania from Thursday to Monday. Evan got there on Friday. I got there on Thursday, and we both left on Monday. And so yeah, it was. So we got to hang out and eat some. So I talked about this last week. So here's the deal, Rob. Jersey. You asked how was New Jersey? Jersey was fine. Jersey was fine. I went to 2 events in New Jersey. One was WrestleMania in East Rutherford. And then Thursday night, I went to Impact in Rahway. About an hour and 10 minutes or so from downtown New York. So I had a MLW event on Thursday night that I had to cover. And then I went from there to Impact. It was a little over an hour drive to Rahway, and that was fine. New Jersey is fine. New York, on the other hand, New York traffic, and I say this, and I've said this a bunch of times now, and I say it again. Based on my experience, and that was my first. Evan's been there to New York City a bunch of times. It's only a few hours from where he stays in Maryland, but that was my first time in New York City. I've been to Buffalo before. Buffalo's a lot like Columbus, Ohio, just really chill. Not real busy. There's, Western New York is a lot more calmer than East New York. So it's like when I went to Buffalo, I was like, this is great, man. Some dope sightseeing. The traffic was fine. It was cool. I enjoyed it. But downtown, the boroughs, Eastern New York, the traffic was absolutely horrible. And I tell people, look, based on what I experienced, New York is everything people say it is, both good and bad. That is my assessment of New York. The glitz, the glamour. Evan and I were in Times Square on Friday evening. We were so busy throughout the weekend that we couldn't. It's funny because we stayed in an Airbnb, and the Airbnb was super cool. That was my first time in an Airbnb. Great experience. I'll probably do that from now on. And it's funny because we actually had a ticket to see the Statue of Liberty at the Airbnb, but we were so busy that we couldn't even take advantage of it. We couldn't even go see the Statue of Liberty. But it was just the traffic. I mean, WrestleMania should not be in New York for a long time. Yeah, it
took an hour and 15 minutes to go 5 miles.
Yes, and that's how it was. 5 miles is 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. Yeah, right.
5-7 minutes.
Yeah, on the freeway, 5 minutes. It's usually a minute a mile, 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But on the streets, it's even on the regular streets, 5 miles is 15 minutes tops with traffic anywhere else. But it took an hour to get 5 miles. And it was just, the traffic was just absolutely atrocious. Go ahead, Evan.
At the train station, Port Authority is the main bus terminal in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, subways, buses. I stayed because of traffic. I was there for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to come get me because it was crazy to even try to leave out, even to get a lift. But I'm trying to think, what do we eat? What did we eat Thursday night?
Well, you got there Friday. You got there Friday, and we ate B-dubs. We ate B-dubs on Friday night. We ate B-dubs in Times Square on Friday night.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, B-dubs.
Yeah, in Times Square.
Lucky's. Yeah, Lucky's.
Yeah, Saturday, that was fantastic. Yes,
amazing.
Saturday was awesome.
A cupcakes from Booty. What's the name of it? Yes, I said Booty. Booty Cupcake, something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
which was good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I had a Dolce cupcake, which was absolutely fantastic.
Caramel.
Yeah.
It's a fancy word for saying caramel.
Yeah.
Some people say caramel, but
caramel.
is it Joe's Pizza?
Yes, and that wasn't bad either. Well, that jacked you up though.
Oh yeah, that
jacked you up.
That gave me, they called it the tech dumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you probably doing trend that fans is fine because it trends on my show. Yeah, and we knew it, but we had no choice. It was 2-3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Pat's Pizza is famous. Its famous pizzeria was on Spider-Man 2. This way Peter Parker worked at delivering pizza. And after that, what did we...
Sunday we ate the concession food, which was actually much better than expected.
Beef steak, Polish sausage.
Yeah.
Cheese fries.
I had a crazy headache at Mania, and I shared this last week, Rob. Man, I had a pound, like it was just a splitting headache. I couldn't even enjoy Mania because my head was hurting so bad. Like it was from like my eye, like all the way to my ear, like all right on my left side. It was just a splitting headache, and like my eye was hurting so bad. That's how bad it was. I couldn't even enjoy Mania and I was cold as crap. Like it was
cold.
Yeah, it was frigidly cold in New York. It wasn't too bad during the day, and then Saturday was fantastic. But Sunday I had like a short sleeve hoodie, and thinking that would be enough, but oh man, it was miserable. it was just, it felt awful, and but yeah, I did enjoy the Kofi moment, but I wish I could have enjoyed Mania at MetLife better. When I first got there, it wasn't bad. When I first got there, it was fine. We enjoyed the beginning and the startup and everything, and when Bliss and Hogan came out, that was fine. And then I think maybe because I was so cold, I don't know what it was. Possibly because I was so cold. It just seems like from Rollins and Lesnar on, it wasn't too bad doing Rollins and Lesnar, and then Orton and Styles was it. That's when I kind of noticed it started to get real bad, and then from Orton Styles, it was just and I was hungry too. Like, I think my biggest problem is because I was so busy that my eating was terrible. I think I went, what was it, Evan? I think I went almost a full day without eating because I was so busy. I think I counted 22 hours without eating. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to beat you up for that, too.
Yeah.
I learned from experience. You notice I kept eating on a regular. I was like, I need to eat, because
it was
so busy.
Yeah, it was bad. I was so busy that 22 hours I went without eating.
27 hours.
Yeah.
Fancy said it. Because when we got the B-dubs, it was like 27 hours, bro.
It was,
no food.
Was it 20? I think it was 22, but I mean, close enough.
22, 22.
Yeah, 22 hours.
I said, man,
yeah.
You ain't bring some fruit snacks.
Right.
Potato chips.
Yeah, it was. I didn't eat a single thing for 22 hours. Yeah.
And I was in 27.
Mm-hmm.
I went almost a whole day without eating, and I was like, never again.
Yeah.
So I did it my first time. So notice I had fruit snacks. If I just don't to tell you, I had fruit snacks.
Yeah.
Candy in the car.
Yeah.
And I don't even eat a lot of snacks like that. But on trips, any fans listening, trust me.
Yeah.
Even if you're going as a fan, if we was going for business, I always carry something sweet to keep your sugar up.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit snacks, Skittles. I ate Skittles, which you don't know. I've not ate a pack of Skittles in 20 years.
Oh, really?
Don't eat a lot of candy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't eat a lot of candy. Closest thing to candy I eat for as fruity stuff is fruit snacks. But not that I don't like it, it's rarely ever.
Mm-hmm.
But Skittles saved my life.
Yeah, yeah. And that was good too. That was really good to do that, because the fact that you just didn't eat it. I mean, the fact that I just didn't eat anything, just was not good, and it wasn't intentional either. I was just so busy that I went nearly a full day without eating food. So, but yeah, snack, and I should have known, because this is my third time. This is my third time doing this, and yeah, I should have known, but I was just so busy on the go. And here's the problem. I think one of the biggest things too was because New York traffic was so bad, and it was just so hard to park. It was just so hard to park in New York's traffic, and so my thing is this. It was like, because it was so hard to park, and because the food was just so, because I didn't want to. There would be times where I wanted to eat, and then I would try to park, and it would take so much time to actually park, and I was just like, oh, forget it. And there was a couple times that I did that on Thursday and Friday before I picked you up, because I had different events to go to, and there was just so much that I wanted to. There was times I wanted to eat, but it was just bad. It was just all bad altogether, man. But end up eating, broke it, an unintentional fast, B-dubs, and then we went to a place called Lucky's Burgers, which was absolutely fantastic. It was, Evan has a picture of of me just in deep thought of the chicken sandwich that I had, and man, it was some good chicken. And I also had a loaded
fries.
Cheese fries. Yeah, it was like cheese and bacon and stuff like that. And I'm a fitness guy. I love working out. I was a personal trainer for 10 years, but I was like, you know what, man, this isn't normal. I'm gonna pig out this weekend, and I'm okay with it. So and I pigged out. Had some pizza, had some cheese fries. It was all good.
So,
and it was great.
Remember after Mania, we had was it 3 a.m? We stopped at Chubby's Chicken.
yeah, the chicken place.
Fries
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
I had like 6 wings, a chicken leg, macaroni and cheese, and 2 Coca-Colas. You had a Sprite. I ain't care. I was hungry.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The chicken, like Cody's saying, Cody was at WrestleMania. I forgot you was at WrestleMania. You could have, tweeted us, man, so we could have met up and took a picture with you. He said the Philly cheesesteaks at the concession stands at WrestleMania was really good. I was going to get one. Yeah, I was going to get one, but you know, I wanted the chicken tenders a little bit more. Wild Boy says, as a chef, I don't want to hear about you not eating. Hurts my soul, man. I hear you, man. It wasn't intentional. You know, I didn't know how to prepare for New York. I liked Jersey, but I didn't know New York was. I heard it was bad traffic wise, but I didn't know it was that bad. So, let's answer some of these Ask Chris questions. I think Lexi asked another question. All right, here we go. Lexi asked, what is your take on the Sasha Banks saga? Is it a work or a shoot? Oh, yeah, okay. So you wanted me to get some info on that. Yeah, so it is a shoot. She doesn't she doesn't want to be in the WWE, and that was one of the headlines. So we can actually jump right into that. She actually tried to quit. She actually tried to quit WWE. Yeah, Lexi Express. She's back and better than ever. Lexi. Don't let me break out the WCW Lex Luger theme.
You can inbox me, Lexi. I know you'll beat me up for it. Lexi.
Hey, man, let me real quick before we go into Sasha Banks, man. I'm gonna as a Columbus, Ohioan, as a Buckeye, as a proud Buckeye, ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate the Columbus Blue Jackets, man, for sweeping the best team in the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and man, 4-0. I went to ROH on Sunday actually, and the game 3 was on Sunday. ROH was just right across the street from Nationwide Arena. It was a solid show. I went to the Masters of the Craft, by the way. It was a really solid show. Looks like we're going to be seeing Marty Scurll against Nick Aldis for the NWA Championship, and PCO against Matt Taven for the ROH Championship. PCO is ROH champ. To me, it's just going to be funny. I like nostalgia. I like old school. 51-year-old ROH champ. Do it now. Yeah, I'm like, just do it, man. I'm a big fan of feel-good moments when it comes to wrestling. People get so tied up to trying to book out for, like, you know, well, this person should beat this heel. This heel should beat this babyface because it'll make them over. I think we kind of missed the mark on that. I think we just kind of missed the point. The point altogether is for the heel to give the babyface the rub. Like, at the end of the day, wrestling is about the bad guy giving the good guy the rub. And Booker T said that. And it's funny because I've always thought that. And Booker T said that one time, and I was like, man, you know, that's my stamp of approval right there. Because I believe, I mean, that's growing up watching wrestling. The heels are the champs because they at the end of the day, the heels are the placeholders for the baby faces to make the baby face to star. And that's how it was with Flair. Flair was the best heel because he made stars. Actually, we had this conversation at ROH with some cool people that I met, and my good friend Ryan, who actually used to co-host. He was the first co-host. He's still the social media rep for the show, and we were all talking. It was four of us, and we were talking about just the missing element of the face heel dynamic. And just for me, and I'll go to the grave with this, man. To me, that's wrestling. That is wrestling, because the more you emphasize the in-ring action as a part of wrestling, you know, Jim Cornette, he said this before. I don't listen to his stuff a lot because he's too R-rated for me as far as his you know, what he shares, but I don't like a lot of profanity listening to it. But he did make a good point. He was talking about how, you know, wrestling nowadays is so tied up to the physical in-ring ability that wrestling fans are never satisfied. So that's the expense of the actual wrestlers, because you'll do triple flip suicide plancha, and then you do that for a couple times. And because wrestling has gotten so heavily emphasized in the ring, you don't want to bore the fans. So now you do a quadruple suicide plancha from the rope onto the stands, and you do that a few times, and then the fans get bored, and then you do a quadruple suicide plancha from one of the from the truss, you know, or the ring truss, you know, and then you do a 6 flip plancha from the Raptors, you know what I mean? So it's always like wrestlers always have to get to the point where they're doing more and more and more and more and more, and that's the reason why this era is the most injury-prone era ever, because the emphasis is so much in the ring and it's gotten so far away from characters, and that just, to me, it's backwards to me. It just kind of takes away the art, the heart and soul, and the art of professional wrestling, emphasizing in characters. Because look at it, Hogan, you know, we didn't get any, we hardly ever got any, you know, he got injured a lot, you know, but we hardly ever got any announcements that Hogan's out for this long because of a big injury, or Andre's out for this long because of a big injury, or Savage is out. You know, although he was physical in the ring, he didn't do a lot of moonsaults and hurricanranas. Look at Steamboat, man. Just the most pure, I mean, just the purest looking competitor in pro wrestling history. You didn't ever hear any story of Steamboat's out for a year because he's got a broken this or torn, you know what I mean? But he made it seamless and effortless. Bret Hart's another one, you know what I mean? Didn't do a lot, but was very technical. Kurt Hennig was another one. So a lot of those 80s and 90s wrestlers, they weren't injury prone. You know what I mean? They beat their body up, sure. But at the same time, it wasn't a lot of, you know, injuries like it is now. So.
Then too, like a lot of the, I'm sorry, I had to change my microphone. Like I said, I don't want to repeat anything, but then too, like a lot of the boys tell us, you know, just had Dr. D. Davis show some of my show this morning, and Flair said it, back in those days, if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So a lot of the boys, if they were injured, unless it was severe, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
because he had to work through injury. If you didn't wrestle in Memphis, if you didn't go to Charlotte, if you didn't go to Baltimore, Ohio, or Kentucky or Louisville, or wherever, you didn't get paid. So you had to work through your injury. Not only that, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and if you didn't work, somebody was going to take your spot.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, it's my good buddy, and I'm glad he popped in my head, and I'm gonna check on him this week. Paul Orndorff, he's a perfect example. The atrophy in his arm is due to because of that. He said it. He told me.
Yeah.
The nerve damage, he had to work through it because in them days you just had to work through your injury. You had to work through your pain.
Yep.
And for Sasha, I mean, I've said it. I've met Sasha. I've stayed at the same hotel as WWE. I've said this before. I told you off air, Featherstone, specific stuff I'm not going to mention on air, but not a fan of her.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I don't wish anything bad on her, but I'm not a fan of her. I've seen her around fans. I've seen her around colleagues. Not really that impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was Kimbo that said, look at Velveteen Dream, majority character, very solid in the ring. Yep. Very good point there. And the crazy thing is, it was the character that actually made Dream who he is, because we saw him as Patrick Clark on Tough Enough. We saw him as the American character. Those things, I mean, he still had the same skill set, but it was the character that really caused him to become the person who he is. A couple more Ask Chris questions. Girl says, heels ran WCW end of 96 and 99. Kind of, but here's the thing. That was around the time of the NWO. So out of the whole NWO, there's one person who got to shine the most, and that person is Sting. Sting was the ultimate point within the NWO because he was the biggest villain. It got him over huge. The heels, Hogan was champ, so forth. Nash, a bunch of other people were champ. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Sting was the focal point. Of being in the Raptors, of course, Starrcade, 97, and even then, and Sting, and even, to a point, DDP. It really made DDP's career, too. As far as just going against the NWO, it really defied his career as a babyface because, he became that main event status. He was feuding with Savage, which was one of the best feuds at that time, DDP and Savage. I've had DDP on the show before, and he was talking about that. Like, he was the one who was contrary. He was the one who didn't jump. And because of that helped his character. So, let me see what other Ask Chris questions.
Did you ever talk about Harper?
No, not yet. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
But real quick, as far as Sasha Banks is concerned, I don't disagree with her being very discontent with with what she's. I mean, because the thing is, she's money. She's over. She's got the charisma. She's got the character. WWE has really used her poorly, since she's been on the main roster. So I'd be upset too.
Remember we said this to you before. What more could she do?
Yeah.
She did so much so fast. I mean, you can say the same with Charlotte, but at the same time, it's like, of course, she has the golden egg.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just forgot about Sasha. And and I don't know the woman personally. I'm just going by the multiple times I've met her and acted, but she's really one of the trailblazers. This whole, women revolution, Charlotte and Sasha. And Sasha was one of the biggest stars WWE has for us women. She sells merch.
Yep.
We've seen it at Mania. I was even joking about her taunt. She's not a bad-looking woman. The boss thing, she can go in the ring, and WWE just demoted her. Okay, whatever. You're just non-existent. downloadable content, feuds with Bailey, your friends, y'all feud, your friends
Yeah.
again, tag team, then y'all lose at Mania. It's like they just left her astray.
Yeah.
So I can't blame her. Hey, go to New Japan, go to AEW, go to ROH. I think she'll be huge. You know, she goes to ROH.
Yeah, I think so too.
That would really spike for them as far as the women division. So
Yep.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, I agree. Good points there. So speaking of quitting, let's jump into the other person who wants to quit, and then we'll get to the Ask Chris questions. Luke Harper, he requested his release. Actually, let me read it. Actually, I'll be able to share it with you all. Let's see. All right, here we go. Let me bring this up here. I'll read it for you all. Actually, I'll show it. Ladies and gentlemen. I told you I'd do it for you. So I shall show it here in just a moment. All right, here we go. All right, so let me enlarge this so y'all can see it. All right, I'm sure y'all can see that there. Okay, so it says, let me actually read it. Okay, here we go. As of this evening, this was 8 hours ago. As of this evening, I've requested a release from WWE. This past 6 years have been a simply amazing journey around the world and back with lifelong friends and family. I am proud of it and proud to say I shared the ring with my coworkers. This decision, as difficult as it was, feels right for myself and WWE. My goal in the future is to continue to grow as a performer and in person to continue to make my family proud. Thank you. From the top to the bottom of WWE, thank you, the fans, for your undying support. Thank you, everyone. So, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That was a huge surprise. That was an absolutely huge surprise from Luke Harper, man. And here's the thing. I think at the end of the day, it's a surprise, but it's not, because it seemed like Luke Harper was pretty set for life when it comes to like just like pay, because he's one of those people that's just a solid competitor. But I mean, at this point now, man, is getting to the point where there's competition out there, and I personally think that Luke Harper would do fantastic in New Japan. I think that he could be a star in New Japan, and yeah, I mean, there's competition out there to really combat with the WWE. Now, Luke Harper in AEW, that doesn't really make sense to me. I think that Luke Harper would be fantastic in New Japan. You know, he was an indie star, you know, before he came to WWE. If anybody, I forgot what it was called. It was on Facebook. Bailey had one. Luke Harper had one. Ruby Riott had one. It was like kind of before WWE. Some really good stuff. And they were talking about, and I followed him when they were actually Brody Lee. And
he was great.
Yeah, and he was the man. Yeah, so you know, he's 39. He'll be 40 years old this year, and you know, making some moves, man. I don't, you know, kudos to him. Kudos to someone, you know, the new wave of, because at a point in time, WWE was really monopolizing the market, and people and they would do their spring cleaning. At that time, the indie market wasn't as big and booming, and they didn't really have good competitors. I mean, you still had Impact at the time, but Impact wasn't going to get everybody who left, you know, WWE. So at this point, man, I think what's the best? You know, he'll be 40 this year, and I think now's the time to really kind of brand yourself. You don't have, I'd imagine he didn't have too much longer, as far as wrestling's concerned, as far as years. So now's the time, man. So, major kudos to him.
Just got, did you already cover this about Wolf?
Nope.
Yeah, this guy, I guess it's breaking news. One of my colleagues has hit me up and said, Alexander Wolfe leaves WWE, issues goodbye statement.
Alexander Wolfe. Yeah, because I know they split Sanity.
Right, yeah, this just literally just got the inbox from a colleague and a reliable source. So that
this is 4 hours ago. All right, let me bring this tweet up too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm about to read this one too. SmackDown Superstar Shakeup. So he tweeted Luke Harper stuff, and then okay, so let me bring this up too. And bring up his sweet tweet too. Man, all of these people just leaving.
The Exodus.
Yes, the Exodus, the WWE Exodus.
Kevin Dunn, get Alexander Wolfe off in the intro. He's not on there at all.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We want to keep him here. All right, here we go. This is from Alexander Wolfe. We, Sanity, made our TV debut October 2016 for NXT at Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. We had a great time in NXT, and we accomplished a lot. NXT Tag Team Champs, NXT Tag Team in the year 2007, first ever NXT WWE War Games match, performed in front of about 15,000 people at a sold-out TakeOver pay-per-view. Growing together as athletes and performers, the whole group is like a family to me. I made 3 good friends over the last 3 years, and I'm really grateful for that. It was without a doubt a great time. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you to the entire SmackDown locker room. Thank you for the good vibes, laughs, and wisdom. I appreciate all of you and wish you all the best of your future careers. Thank you to the fans who supported us and never stopped believing in us. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you as well, and trust me, I speak for all 4 of us. It's time to leave this behind and walk a different path. R.I.P. Sanity. Goodbye, WWE. Wow. Well, you got Luke Harper and Wolfe sending out statements. Wow. That's crazy, man.
It regardless of what WWE is always going to say the PC right term, they're not going to acknowledge it. And this is the weird thing, and I think we kind of talked about this. During the Monday Night Wars, WWE didn't mention WCW much. WCW, of course, did when it came to the ratings, but overall, it was like, you down south, up north, 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like WWE, Triple H is mentioning AEW, you had the little side jokes, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me with AEW now, the TV deal leaving in October. We know that's inevitable. They're going to have a TV deal. And for the first time in years since 2001, just by AEW's rearing their head, people feel like, I got an option. Granted, WWE, don't make a mistake, is a juggernaut. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
It's a multi-million-dollar company. It's so much that goes on in WWE. It's more than just Raw, SmackDown, what you see in the ring.
Right.
So Vince doesn't have to worry about as far as his stock or as far as his empire, but he has to worry about the people in it, because for the first time since WCW, or even ECW, was like, all right, we got options. Let me go to AEW. Mm-hmm. Let me try out ROH. Let me try out Impact. Let me try out New Japan.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing, because maybe Vince could decide, hey, let's be real. If it was not for if it was not for Bischoff, if it was not for WCW making Nitro Live every week and kicking their butt, Vince would not have turned his head and reared his head to the Attitude Era, taking a little bit from WCW and ECW. You still would have been dealing with the Repo Man, Berserker. Hopefully he's okay.
Right.
Mantar,
Right.
Skinner, which I love Steve Skern. We've been dealing with these comic book, goofy 4K characters.
Yeah, very true. Bunch of good Ask Chris questions, so let me jump on here real quick. Ronda Rousey's leaving too. Was it what's her hashtag that she was using? Pregnancy, some type of pregnancy vacation, pregnant something. Let me pull it up real quick. She wants to start a family, so
vacation.
Yeah.
Impregnation vacation.
Yeah, impregnation vacation. Yeah. So I mean, great. You know what I mean? I think I like Rousey, man. I think she did exactly what she was supposed to. At the end of the day, Ronda Rousey put someone over. She put Becky Lynch over. Becky Lynch was a star because of the allure and mainstream attention of Ronda Rousey. It only took her a year to put somebody over. Oh! Yeah, I mean, she did what she was supposed to. She came in at 34. She had the most exciting match of the night. I think that
31.
technically, yeah, with The Rock.
I know.
But she, as far as her in-ring debut, and I think they hot-shotted her just a little bit too soon. I didn't like the fact that she was like going against Nia Jax for the title like a month later, and then having her win at SummerSlam. Yeah, I think they hot-shot her just a little bit too fast. I would have hoped. I think she just kind of by default turned heel because WWE they should know that that's just not the way to create a babyface nowadays. I mean, if you just want to hotshot somebody, that's just not the way to go. Look at Roman Reigns. As much as I defend Roman Reigns, that was just a bad way to book him. So,
here's the thing to think about. As you say, here's the thing, and Matt Morgan has said this before. In very, very few, I'm doing something rare because I rarely talk about my personal life. You know this, bro. Ronda Rousey is leaving to have a child. I hope she feels her body is automatic, and she automatically can get pregnant like this week.
Yeah.
And everything go well with having a baby in 9 months. Because 9 months, if she ended up getting pregnant within April, 9 months from now is about, December, January? May is in April. And that's a lot to get your body back in shape. And
yeah.
I know within myself personally, I unfortunately, was expecting Dad again, and we lost the baby. It don't work like that all the time.
Well, here's the thing. And even on top of that, and of course, I've shared much times and, consoled you through that. And here's the thing. My wife and I have 3 kids, and she's in a very athletic shape, and it takes 6 weeks, for you to even carefully start training again, because of the birth and because of just healing stuff, while you're birthing. You don't want to tear anything. And, as a father, I've seen 3 kids come out of my wife in the delivery room, and I see, and I'm sure a lot of people in the, PNP Nation, they have kids too, and they've seen it, and even especially the females, they know, you know what I mean? And so it's not that easy to just say, oh, all right, I'm going to pop a kid out and I'm good to go. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's at least 6 weeks to heal up before you can even start training. So if we look at a timeline, we've got, it's mid-April. So you conceive, say, May, 40 weeks, if it's full term, that's, 9 months and 10 days, 9 to 10 days. So, so even with that, you know what I mean? Like it's so technically what 9 months and 9 months and a week typically is a full term.
December, January.
And so you're at January, And 6 weeks after that makes it about late February. And so technically, and then you start training, and so it's going to take a while to get rid of, your baby bump. And so that's going to take another, few months. So it's just not very feasible, to say I'm just going to pop a kid out and I'll be ready by Mania. So I don't even know, just, and to Ronda's credit, she trains her butt off. So, she can get to a point where she is, in a halfway, shape, but she won't look like she did before she left. I mean, she'll still have, some baby fat, to get rid of. And I know she'll work her butt off to do it. But at the same time, it's like, is it worth training that hard to make sure you are healthy and safe? As far as the delivery is concerned. So it's so I don't know. It's I don't know. It's one of those things.
About too, because I've had colleagues, professional friends, personal personal friends, let's say professional business partners that are female. They dealt with postpartum. You just don't know. It's so much that could go on with that. You do postpartum depression.
Yeah.
You could deal with other depression, other things. My sister-in-law dealt with this. The diabetes? So talking about after you're pregnant, and you deal with the elevated diabetes or the pre-diabetes or the different things going on with your body as far as your sugar levels. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is. Trust me. Like I said, I've got 3 kids. After birth was my mom gained 16 pounds with me. I was 7, and the afterbirth was 7 full term. I don't know. Explain that a little bit more, Lexi. I don't necessarily understand that. And that's and even gaining 16 pounds. That's not normal. That's great, actually. that's a very blessed pregnancy. She was a bodybuilder. Okay. Yeah, that's great, man. My wife is athletic build, and she gained like 40 pounds. So she got it off. Yeah. Within a few months, probably like 4 or 5 months, but it's not that easy. It's definitely not that easy for sure. So
the great thing for Mrs. Featherstone for sis is that she was able to lose it, because there's some people
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If you want a pop culture reference, Jennifer Martin. Look at Jennifer Martin doing the Martin show.
Yeah.
How she was. Look at her now. She gained that weight. Look at her, my wife and kids and all. She had no kids. She was nothing against it. Right.
She was from Martin to my wife and kids. Yeah, that's right.
Martin now.
Yeah, I mean, she still looks great, but she's thick now, as opposed to being small during Martin. Yeah. Yeah. So Lexi, kudos to your mom, Mama Lexi. Kudos to Mama Lexi.
Shout out to Mama Lexi.
Kudos to Mama Lexi.
Military Mama Lexi.
Because that's some dope stuff right there, man. To be able to recoup. First of all, only gain 16 pounds. That's amazing. And then to be able to recoup that quick. But that's definitely not. Mama Lexi is definitely the exception to the rule. It's all good. We're live, pal. Let's do this. PNP Nation, or can y'all hear me? All right, cool.
WWE decided to dedicate a pay-per-view to other factions. Everyone's talking about WWE.
Spectrum, Lexi. Spectrum. I'm not with Cox. We don't have Cox here, and I don't think we have Cox Communications here. I'm sorry, Evan, but I was addressing. All right, so we got 20 minutes. Sorry, guys. That was crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But we are here live in living color. But here's the crazy thing. All of the chat, all the Ask Chris questions from Evan on my chat here. Can y'all hear me? That's the first thing I see. So all the Ask Chris questions gone. So if you can remember your Ask Chris question, please readdress it, and I'll do my best to answer it. Again, my apologies for that craziness, but it's part of the show. Let's move on. I think Multi asked something about you and I. When did we meet, and how long have we known each other? Man, that's a good question. How in the world did we meet? Like, I know we met on Facebook. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even remember. We met Facebook.
Yeah.
We talked about wrestling and shows, and I came in one time doing filming. I was
Yeah.
in the film. I think somebody had
Yeah, because it was first. My boy Ryan was the host for about a year, and then my boy Derek, he was the host for Derek was the host for about a good solid 3 years. And then for about a year, I was co-hosting I had co-host every week with different like wrestling publishers, and wrestling publishers and wrestlers. I was co-hosting, and then it just got too much. Just like, people don't know, man. It takes a lot to prepare for this show, man. It takes a lot on top of my crazy schedule anyway. So I would have to. It got to the point where I was booking co-hosts and booking wrestling interviews, and that was too much. So yeah, every single week. So thankfully Evan, he was like, man, I'm in. I'll fill in as a co-host. I'll be permanent, and the rest is history. And we, our faith is what has kept us strong as friends. That's the core of our relationship, and other than wrestling. We first met each other at Orlando, and we were doing the show, and then Evan was co-hosting the show for a while, and then the first time we met each other in person was Orlando back at 33, and then since then every year we hang out and do media together for WrestleMania. So thanks for putting the link up there, Mo, for the Blog Talk Radio. All right, so again, all the Ask Chris questions is gone. Unfortunately, my apologies for you all. It just reset everything. So any other Ask Chris questions, do it. And GHP doing his thing with the admin, I see. My man. there's my there's my Leo Rush when it comes to GHP being an admin. My man. Yes. Yeah.
Wasn't sure who they said they were Brian Corbin or someone. Then I told him that Balor was actually a friend to his title. So I wasn't sure if so if there to be announcement or who the show was facing.
No, I haven't looked into that yet. I know that Joe, speaking of IC title with Balor, Joe was he was sick. He was like super sick. And so they had to actually not put him on the script at all. They had to actually rewrite stuff because Joe was actually supposed to be sent to Raw. They could pull the keep Joe on SmackDown and have Finn Balor lose the title. Maybe to Andrade or something, but I don't see that happen. I think they'll probably just go ahead and do Joe on the show on Raw next week. All right, let's address a couple of these Ask Chris questions, and Then we'll do grades for Raw and SmackDown to Shakeup. Lexi's asking, considering what the possible career-ending injuries Nia Jax faces, what do you think her future holds? What of Tamina? Good question. I think it's just a matter of just recovering, and if it is career-ending, maybe an ambassador. I'd imagine an ambassador role, because they've really used, the fact that she's thick-figured as a, anti-bullying and being okay with yourself as far as your look and things like that. So they've used her in those capacities already. So I think that she'd be a good ambassador for stuff like that, as far as going to different schools and talking to kids and stuff like that. So she'd fit pretty good in that role. To me, unfortunately, I think that she'll get the bad end of the stick, because I think that they'll probably just have her job out. And I think Tamina would make a fantastic NXT trainer. She's great. She's very solid in the ring, always has been. Never had an opportunity to get any type of break. Never had any title in the WWE. I mean, as far as Divas title or Women's Championship or, of course, Tag Team Championship. Never had any title. I think that out of anybody, Tamina, talking about uncrowned Women's Champ, there's Tamina. But I think Tamina would do, I think Tamina would be a really, really good trainer.
Every time she gets a push, injuries or.
Oh, real quick, Wild Boy. No, I didn't say the R-rated word. It was COX, Cox Communications. No, I don't use profanity. He said, "Whoa, Chris, I thought it was a PG podcast." No. Lexi knew what I was talking about. Business and residential is what she said. I have residential. Wow, boy. Thanks, man. Everybody needs their accountability, so I appreciate you saying that anyways. But no, I didn't say that word. Yeah, we keep it PG here. I just want to address a few of these questions real quick before we go. Again, what were you saying, Evan?
Got that quick. No one in this. Oh, so every time Tamina got a push, she had injuries, and then last push is just with her dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Court case.
True.
But took her off, passed away, and brought her back. So I thought Tamina's really good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The women's division is something new. I mean, Becky's great, but I'm pretty sure by SummerSlam we're going to get over.
Yeah. I mean, they're cooling off. They're cooling off now on her. So. Let's see. Gross is asking, I think AEW needs to compete with NXT, not WWE Raw or SmackDown Live. What do you think? I like that. I like that idea of AEW competing with NXT. I think that would probably be their best bet. They can't compete with the Juggernaut. So AEW competing with NXT would be a good call for them. GSP's asking, what do you think they are alluding to by Roman punching Vince? 205, one versus all over again. Oh, brother. Good question. I saw that, and let's just real quick go to Raw and SmackDown, because the flavor of the week before all that was supposed to be the number one draft picks. We're just want to review the number one draft picks of all the WWE drafts, and was it a total debacle, or did it actually play out to be a good call? So I'm going to address that real quick, and I'm going to kind of merge Raw and SmackDown all together. With that actual question that you asked, which was a good question, GHP. Now, here's the thing. Here's my hope for that. I think Roman going was very evident, and I've said this on the show. For the GSP, you would know. You're on here every week. I've said this before as far as Roman should be on SmackDown, and I was very happy to see that. I think that was a very good call. I said Roman should be on SmackDown with them going to Fox. Roman Reigns would be the guy, to be on Raw, on SmackDown, going to Fox. Perfect, very perfect. I was hoping this. I was hoping that we see, because people want fans, like Daniel Bryan. Fans are fickle. Fans are fickle, man, and people just don't want to get to the point where they just want to boo Roman Reigns to put themselves over, and I don't like it. I just it's frustrating. It's ridiculous to me. Roman Reigns isn't being pushed. He isn't being shoved down our throats. He is hardly on the mic anymore. So it's like all the reasons why you were booing him before, he doesn't need to do it anymore, and you still want to boo him. So it's just like some people just want to get themselves over. I like the fact that they put the heat on Elias. And here's the thing, if it was up to me, I would have Roman Reigns be an Austin-like character against McMahon. I think Elias is a good person to really, McMahon to be behind, or you can even do somebody like a Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? For like a really good heel for Vince McMahon to really get behind. And at the end of the day, I think if you do, Vince McMahon can get heat. If you do Vince versus Reigns in some capacity, it doesn't even have to be a match. It probably won't be a match. But Vince versus Reigns, similar to Austin versus McMahon, I think you can do it. Because we saw it. When Reigns came out, he was getting cheered. We heard some boos, but Elias did a really good job getting that heat. People erupted when he Superman punched McMahon. And so at the end of the day, it's like, I think it's like, what is that? What is it called? I forgot what it's called. Let's see. I think it's okay. Yeah. Occam's razor. I've been learning a lot of philosophy especially when it comes to apologetics. So Occam's razor is basically the gist of it is the simple. In many cases, the simplest explanation is the best, and so that's basically how I feel when it comes to Reigns McMahon. Like, don't you have to you don't make it so extravagant. You don't have to be all that. Just let's see Roman Reigns versus Vince. Vince McMahon knows how to draw heat. Do it. That's the way to get him over. So I thought that was a good call. Go ahead.
Even though AJ punched Vince in the mouth and AJ had to double any repercussions, but it's all fine.
Yeah. GSP says, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Of course, Roman's been kind of low-key. I like it. The universe are just rocky. Us real fans know what's going on. Excellently said. Very well said there. Why do Baron Corbin dress like a bartender from Applebee's? That's hilarious. First of all, I love Applebee's. That's one of my favorites. I like the Corbin look. I like it. It's different. It makes him stand out. So I like it. All right. Wild Boy's asking, how do you feel about the late night move, the SmackDown for Liv, Mickey, Gable, and Cruz? I mean, what does it really mean? I mean, Riot Squad's broken up. I figured that either Gable or Rude was going to be broken up to split them up. Apollo Crews, just a shift from Raw to SmackDown. I don't see anything different, unfortunately. Not too bad. It's just kind of Rob is asking, let's address it. Will WWE continue with the experience, or will they drop the arrogance and go back to Road Warriors? Okay, yes, let's address that crazy trash. The Viking Experience. That's So what I heard was, from what I heard, I did a little digging, and from what I heard is Vince doesn't like the word war to be said on the PG show. Now, everybody knows I'm a PG guy, for spiritual purposes, not for the purposes of kid friendly and all that, which is a part of it, but it's a byproduct. But I don't see anything wrong with the word war. Are you kidding me? Like, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. I've heard, I've kept a relationship with a lot of wrestlers, and the stuff that I hear as far as what they can and can't say behind the scenes is just like, Vince, like, listen, I'm gonna give you a Snickers or something. You know what I mean? Like, you need something. This is just really petty, and I think the War Raiders is just no, but they don't do Raw's War anymore. They stopped doing that for a while. But the Viking, even if you want to not do the War Raiders, the Viking Experience is probably the worst alternative that you could have done. Just absolutely terrible. All right, real quick, Raw and SmackDown. Don't like the fact that it's okay. So the point was everybody who went to the Raw and SmackDown, they won just about. I think everybody did. They're finally doing something with Lacey. What else? Lars being on both brands, and the point is to shake up. Why is he still on both brands? Like, now would be the time where you would have him not. It's just ridiculous. We talked about the Viking Experience. Andrade, I still don't see much coming out for him, although he beat the Intercontinental Champion. So, and then Bayley getting booed on SmackDown. To me, I think Bayley's just an unfortunate byproduct of people just not liking what Sasha did. Unfortunately, I think she's just a byproduct of that. So, do you turn her heel? Sure, why not? See how that works. I love the Kevin Owens thing. I loved it. He was in Montreal again. I said feel good moments, is the way to go. So a lot of times you just got to cater to the feel good moment, man. And this was a feel good moment. I loved it. It seemed like eventually they'll turn KO heel. Looks like this is setting up for KO and Kofi. So be it. So be it. Oh, you do, Lexi. Oh, that's awesome, man. Hit me a tweet about that. Dedicated static IP and tax deductible. I like it. All right. Gruss said Raw and SmackDown get Fs. Angelo says he's happy that Roman Reigns is on SmackDown. Good stuff, guys. One more trivia question. We literally have like 2 minutes left, unfortunately. I'm sorry, guys. That's the unfortunate part of Plan A. This person defeated Pedro Morales both in 81 and 83, 1981 and 1983 to become Intercontinental Champ. Mahmoud, I was saying, I loved it. I love the move to Roman and SmackDown Live. Yeah, Lars is ask Chris, will Lars Sullivan be better as Sami Man's bodyguard? I like that. I like that idea a lot, actually. I like that idea a lot. I think Lars would be better as Vince's bodyguard and feud against Reigns. I think that would be dope. All right, so let's talk about let's get to the flavor of the week. Let's get right into this. Whenever I find it here. All right, let's do it.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
Okay. So let's talk about the draft. 2002, The Rock was the first pick. Of course, that's pretty much speaks for itself there. 2004, the first pick was Rene Dupree to Raw. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, that didn't work out too well. That was the first pick to SmackDown. Wow. The second pick was Shelton Benjamin. Yeah. That first and second wasn't that good. I mean, I like Shelton. He's great in the ring. Renee, he did for what it was worth. He achieved pretty good in a short amount of time. But yeah, when that didn't work out too well. Cena was the first pick for 2005. Of course, that speaks for itself. 2006 was just two. It was just two. So it was RVD going to Raw and Kurt Angle going to SmackDown. Yeah, there was just two people from ECW. That's odd. The Great Khali was number one for 2007, and the Boogeyman was number two. Yikes. Something's going on again. Is that your phone?
Nah, let me check. I think it's gone now.
Okay, it's gone now. That's just weird. Yeah, so Great Khali was going downhill, Kimbo says. Yeah. Great Khali was 2008. Ray to SmackDown from Raw was 2009.
Was okay.
Well, that was 2008. Yeah, that was okay. MVP to Raw from SmackDown. Okay, so Rey Mysterio to Raw from SmackDown, and then MVP to Raw from SmackDown. He was U.S. champ at the time. Yeah, decent. 2010 was Kelly to SmackDown from Raw. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's stop there. Let's continue next week. 2011. All right, ladies and gentlemen. 368 episodes in the books. I appreciate all your patience. Chris Featherstone on behalf of Evan Tech Prout. Under the Mat Radio. Follow me at Chris Prolific on Twitter and Crave Wrestling. On behalf of Evan Tech Prout, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. I'll do it for you.